And that's the thing. When I was in school, 5th grade and 6th grade, we had these classes. They were not mandatory, but because I always had a problem to schedule my learning, like I never wanted to do any of that. Because of course I didn't like it. I didn't know for what I was doing it, and that's often the problem. If you don't know why you're doing something, then why should you do it? Like I never saw sense in these things. And also, I cannot say that school really helped me, because the skills I needed, I basically developed them because I wanted to. It wasn't school that taught me English. Well, they taught me some of the basics, but I learned English because I listened, I read, and I spoke. And for example, photography, I taught that to myself. I just took a camera and somehow, I like technology. And I have a knack for just figuring it out. You just give me a camera, I don't need the manual. I just flip through the instructions, like I just flip through the menus and then I just try things. And if you see how I edit pictures, and what I start with and what I end up with, it's just, I know now how to do it. Because I had the courage to try something. And most people, they don't even try, they just, they're so afraid to fail. And that's something that you get from school. The fear of doing something wrong, the fear of failing. And you just have to leave that behind you. Because now you're just doing it for yourself, and that's why doing it in your own room, when nobody's watching you, is the best way to start. Because I cannot tell you, do this or do that. I can just tell you, just do it. Do you remember the times when you were procrastinating? Or what people call procrastination, which I believe is actually, things I would rather do than the shit that I'm supposed to do. For example, when I was writing my dissertations, I hated, reading articles, and I hated writing a story with this because the story was boring. Like, I don't want to write about monkeys, what they eat and stuff. I don't give a shit about that. I mean, it's already obvious. You just watch them, you know what they eat. Like, I don't have to analyze it. So that part was a drag for me. What I liked was working with the programming software R, which I also taught myself because I wanted to learn it. I didn't even know why. I just loved it. To solve problems, to analyze stuff, okay. And I didn't solve it by learning the entire language, no. I work a bit different because the internet gives me most of the answers, so I just have to get what I need and then I use it in the way that I want to use it. So I don't have to write an entire program, no, I just look at what other people already found and then I just stitch it together and then it works in the end. And of course, the more I did it, the better I became at doing it. And I realized, I had a lot of data, and what I really liked was producing graphs with R. I really wanted to, I liked producing graphs. And I liked working with the data. But I didn't like the writing, because the subject was shit. And so I learned to analyze stuff in my mind, actually, because that's what I did with the verbals. I already knew all the things that the analysis told me, and I realized, oh shit, I just did that in my mind already. And that's when I first started to realize, when that one professor or something, he was criticizing that I said something about temperature, but my data didn't support it. And then I thought, well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? Because I've studied them. Why would I have to prove it statistically? It's just obvious that it would be like this. That during warmer days, like warmer mornings, they would be active earlier because that's what I observed. And if I've observed it and my mind already draw the conclusion that's how it is, because I've seen it like, I don't know, maybe hundreds of times. Because for 1.5 years, not all the time, but most of the time, I studied them 3 times a week. So of course you realize these things if you pay attention. And I pay attention. I always pay attention. If I'm somewhere and there's a bunch of people, I'm the one who will probably go to the person who's depressed because I realize that person isn't doing so well. So I go there and ask them, how are you doing? And I realize that's their circumstances. So, I can ask them about that too. Or maybe they will just tell me. I was once at a festival, and it was a festival without substances. And I liked that. And I realized I was actually getting high just by being there, doing what I loved, which was running around, helping in the kitchen, and just doing my thing. Sometimes talking to people, woo, and just doing my stuff, just being me. That already draws attention, just being me, and that's incredible. Because I also like, in a way, to get attention, because I show to people, this is your potential, you can tap into that. You just have to do it. And so there was this young kid, and he was about maybe 16, and he was in school, and he had an injured leg, and his mom kind of dragged him there, and he didn't really know how to connect, so he was just sitting there, he couldn't do much. And I realized he was sitting there, and somehow I was the only person who set aside his own personal, I want to chill with people, and I want to talk, and I want to do like cuddle stuff with others or something. So I was the only person, apart from the family, that went to him and just asked him if he wanted tea. And then I just sat down with him with a cup of tea and also gave him tea. And then we just drank it together, and he showed me some of his amazing graffiti artwork. And I thought, whoa, that guy, he's so talented. And where did he use it? By spraying graffitis and painting it. So he had so much potential, but I'm sure in school he would have been like me. Because there is no room for people like this in school, for creative people who have this kind of the spirit of Schiller, like kind of free people who want to be free. People who are more conscious, who see through that weird game that we do in society, by making the people who are like us feel shit, and everybody else who serves the system is glorified. Oh, you've got a good grade, you fit into the system, congratulations. And then people like me and others who don't want to play these games, they just get picked on. So yeah, that's just who I am. I pick up stuff, I pay attention, and that's why I knew the monkey's behavior without even analyzing it. And that's why most of my analysis was descriptive, by just making graphs and just looking at the data. Because I analyze it in my mind, and some people, they are literally so ignorant that they just have to do all these statistics to prove what they're saying to all these mathematicians who have not an inch of faith. That's why they have to analyze all that stuff, because I could just observe it and tell you the results. But yeah, I don't really see sense in doing that anymore. So I can just observe humans and observe behavior, and then I just write books with it, or I paint it, and my mind does that automatically. I gather information through gathering insight. And then I just sit down and I have this kind of topic, and right now my topic is sexuality because I'm horny. So I have to do something with that. So I talk about it. I create an outlet for it. And that's what I did with my hatred. I created an outlet for my hatred and my anger. And that's why I wrote books with that. And that's what you have to do. You tap into your hidden emotions. And that's gonna be scary. To tap into that, I drank a lot of coffee. Because I wanted to draw them out. I wanted to rile me up. I wanted to see my anger. and my frustration, like the sides that I normally don't show to people because it scares them. And then they push me away as soon as they see them. So yeah, I just do these kinds of things, and then I make art with it. And that's it for today.